What's going on? Straight to the point. Let's get right to it. Make sure y'all hit that like button and sub to the channel if you're not a member. And also hit the notifications to get all of my content and all of my videos. LDBC, salute to you. Day ones, new subs, and the people that don't rock with me. I salute you too, man. Do your best job to destroy. I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to go ahead and get right to this. Of course, it was early this morning that I reported in the community section. Actor, legendary actor, award, Oscar award winning actor, Gene Hackman, was found unalive at the age of 95 years old, along with his wife. Um, I think she was, 62 or 63 or something like that. And sadly, they are too. All three. I mean, that's like terrible. Uh, I think there's still an ongoing investigation, and it's nothing assumed yet in terms of foul play. But it is kind of weird. I mean, things like this have taken place, but I just find it kind of odd, But I'm going to talk about the good things, man, about Gene Hackman. I mean, we can sit up here and we can harp on the negative stuff, but um, again, man, let me say this. I grew up on Gene Hackman. I really, at first, I didn't quite get him as an actor, whatever. But the thing that was unique about Gene Hackman is that he could play both the villain and he could play, the hero. He could be on the good side. Um, my top movies are my all-time movie that I like with Enemy of the State. I like Behind Enemy Lines. Of course, The Replacements and Crimson Tide. Those are my top. Those are my top. He's been in so many others, though. I mean, he's been in Superman. I mean, this guy never stopped working. Like I said, man, he was 95 when he ultimately lost his life or whatnot. But yeah, I grew up on him, man. You know, I grew up on him. Please hit that like when you come in here. Hit the like button when you come in here, please. I grew up on Gene Hackman, man. But like and at first I really wasn't liking Enemy of the State, but I watched it more and more and more because everybody got to think, man, I was in the seventh grade when that came, when Enemy of the State came out. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't really understand it, but then I watched it more and more. I think I watched it like the very next year, man, and I started falling in love with that movie because a lot of people don't know that Enemy of the State was really given a precursor and actually telling you what was going to happen back then up to now. It was telling you what things were going to take place, and as far as technology and stuff was concerned. But that was my movie, man. And Gene Hackman, he was the guy, man. And see, you got actors like that. That's why I like actors, man, that can play both the villain. They can play both the villain and they can play the hero. I like them both, man. Or I like when they play both. Like Samuel L. He could be the villain and he could be the hero. He's been the villain and the hero at the same time in the movie. That's unique. Denzel Washington, of course, he's been the villain and the hero. Um, Michael Ealy, I think Michael Ealy is like that. He could be the villain and he could be the hero. But Gene Hackman, he's notorious for that. He could be the villain and he could be the hero, and sometimes he could do a little bit of both. He could do a little bit of both or whatnot. What's up, Hawkeye? So, R.I.P. to Gene Hackman, man. It's sad that him and his wife went out together, man. I hope it wasn't. I hope it wasn't the unthinkable. Let's just hope that it was, natural causes or something like that. But I don't know, man. Like together, man. Like that's odd. To me, it is. That's odd, and we still don't know what happened. But yeah, I like Gene Hackman. I used to not like him though. Not him as a person, but I didn't like the characters that he particularly played. I was like, man, who is this guy, man? This guy is boring, da, 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 all that other stuff. But then as I got older, I began to understand him. Come on, what you doing, man? Dang, man, these people get right in front of you and then they don't know how to drive, man. But yeah, R.I.P. to Gene Hackman, man. This guy, man, incredible body of work, man, in terms of acting, man. Some of y'all might be too young to remember Gene Hackman, but I remember him vividly, you know. Um, but yeah, he lived a long life. I didn't even, man. Well, now that I think about it, yeah, he was 95, man. He was 5 years away from being 100. Cypress TV in the building. Man, hopefully he stick around, man, for the basketball talk, man. He don't be sticking around because he don't want the smoke. Make sure y'all go sub to the brother Cypress TV. Cypress TV all over the place. We got Cypress TV, of course, with him, Player Co. and the boy Triller. Go sub to Player Co. You catch Cypress TV over there on the Memphis Hard Hitters. They get down over there, and also he's on the Godmother's podcast too as well over there with to Cypress, man, heavy at work, man. Yeah, man, he played in some classics, man. I'm gonna name them off for you. Of course, you got it, man. Crimson Tide, I mentioned that one. Behind Enemy Lines, Enemy of the State, The Replacements, Get Shorty. I mean, he was in everything. Crossfire. And man, he been in everything. Yeah, make sure y'all go sub to the Memphis Heavyweights, man. They got their ear to the concrete. Make sure y'all sharing this video too, man. Trying to get this out there, man. But yeah, man. R.I.P. to Gene Hackman, man. Lived a long life, man. Lived a very long life. And he like that, and you can appreciate a guy, man, that still works well off into his elderly age, man. That's one thing, man. I give props to Betty White for. Betty White was still like 80, 90 years old, still moving like she was like in her 30s and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'll talk more about Gene Hackman a little later, man. I do want to talk about. I got to get into some round ball right now. Man. Shout out to Ticket TV, man. he was talking about something this morning uh, on a live, and I agree with him 100%, man. And I've actually taken a step further, and I've said that he said that Dame Lillard should come off the bench. I'm like, Dame Lillard should actually, like, you should actually do away with Dame Lillard. And I know some people gonna think I'm crazy for saying that, but Dame Lillard he doesn't bring anything to the table, especially towards the end of games. If we're gonna give Paul George, guys like Paul George, DeMar DeRozan, who they've called DeMar DeFrozen and all this other stuff, we got to call out Dame Lillard, okay? Because Dame Lillard has been absent in the fourth quarter for these last couple of years. Now, last season, of course, he had got hurt or whatnot. But during the end of games, when the games get tight and towards the end of the season, I noticed that about Dame. And on top of that, you cannot utilize him. You can't utilize him both ways. That's what the brother Ticket TV alluded to. You can't utilize him both ways. And what I'm talking about is, defensively. Kyle Kuzma, you could utilize Kyle Kuzma defensively. And the reason why you're going to give the edge to Kyle Kuzma is because Kyle Kuzma actually, he knows championship winning basketball. He has a championship up under his belt. I know. We know it's a bubble ring, but nevertheless, he still was a part of that team. But Dame Lillard is non-existent, man. He's non-existent in the fourth quarter of games, and this is a guy that's supposed to be a top 75 player. This is a guy that is supposed to be one of the best to ever do it, but he hasn't lived up to that. So I think at this time, it is good to make that move, and you possibly want to consider moving him. Giannis can be utilized in the fourth quarter. Kyle Kuzma could be utilized in the fourth quarter. For all the shit that they talk about, Bobby Portis, he could be utilized in the fourth quarter. He could be utilized in the fourth quarter, man. So, yeah, Dame Lillard, man, he's non-existent in the fourth quarter. Like a guy like Max Christie, you could utilize him in the fourth quarter of games. You know why? Because Max Christie will actually put the clamps on a player. Like Malik Beasley, like yesterday. You saw that yesterday. I'm getting ready to talk about the Pistons in just a second. You saw that yesterday. Malik Beasley is becoming that type of player that you could depend on late in games. And that's why Ivy was so important too, because you could use Ivy in both ways. Both for his playmaking, his defense to a degree. You got to be able to use your if you're not playable in the fourth quarter, man, you don't know how much of a detriment that does, especially if you're known to be, a threat both ways. Come on, man, what are you doing? So, yeah, they got to do something with Dame Lillard, and I'm gonna tell you like this: they're not gonna beat the Pistons playing like this. That's what I've told the brother Cypress TV, and I've told plenty of other guys. Listen, I'm still on a high from what happened to the Pistons last night, and that's another thing that I had an opportunity right after I got off of live. I had an opportunity to listen to Ticket's video about the Detroit Pistons. He said no excuses. That's the same. That's the same thing that I was trying to tell everybody. I don't want to hear any excuses about, oh yeah, missing personnel and all this other stuff. Nah, listen, man. When in '95, no, what 97? I think it was 98, 98. In '98, when the Chicago Bulls, when they didn't have Pippen for the stretch of games, they still found a way to get it done. Him and Rodman, when they were shorthanded, they still found a way to get it done. Okay, that's the same thing with Golden State. Now, with Golden State, the thing that was exceptional about them is that they were still able to find a way to get it done when they had to regroup with their personnel. Like, in 22, when they didn't have, when Klay Thompson was, less than 100%, because that wasn't all the way Klay, guess what? They were still able to find a way to get it done. Great teams find a way to regroup. All this stuff about, oh yeah, we're missing key players. Well, what do you think? Who you think the Pistons were missing? They were missing key players too. What are they doing up here? So, I know that, the Pistons, to some people's eyes, the onlookers, it's not, it's not, it's not, it might not be appealing. They're so used to seeing, talking about the Lakers all the time and stuff like that. But man, it's a new day and time, man. It's a new day and time. We got to start talking about some of these other guys. And Cade Cunningham, like I said, he is number two, in my opinion, on the MVP candidate list. And JB Bickerstaff, like I've been telling everybody, he is coach of the year. Ain't no JJ Redick. JJ Redick isn't no coach of the year. This guy, man, like I said, man, people. The reason why I want the Pistons to play the Cleveland Cavaliers is because JB Bickerstaff was done wrong, man. And nobody's calling out Donovan Mitchell, man. Nobody's calling out Donovan Mitchell on that. And I really wish they would. Spider Mitchell does not get a pass from me in this situation at all. He gets no pass because he was wrong for what he did, man. And people can sit up there and try to make all these, different type of excuses and talk about Donovan Mitchell's a great player and all this other stuff. Really, honestly, that's the same thing as far as Dame Lillard. Donovan Mitchell struggles with the same thing. Down the stretch, Donovan Mitchell is not good. And then, of course, he pulled a Chris Paul. He pulled a Chris Paul last season, getting hurt at the wrong time. So, and a lot of people not taking it. I don't take the Cavs seriously. Let's get them in a situation where the pressure is on them. That's what I want to see. It's just like everybody wanted to see the Pistons versus Boston. I want to see the Pistons versus the Cavs, and I'm talking about in a playoff situation, because they're going to, listen, this is what you have to understand. They're going to adjust to whatever play. That's what playoffs is about. It's about adjustment. The game slows down, and you figure out that player or you figure out your opposition. And I think that that's what the Pistons are going to do. I think that that's what JB Bickerstaff. I don't think JB Bickerstaff is getting enough credit for the adjustments that he's been able to make. They've been shorthanded too. and nobody, no, nobody's gonna talk about that, but they're gonna talk about JJ Redick. Man, please, man, you got a guy in Luka. You got an all-world player in Luka that came over there. He's gonna set your team so far ahead of everybody. Of course he is. Five-time All NBA. Done been to the finals. I mean, look, I'm not gonna say he's coach of the year because of that. What's up, Alex? Alex, I see you in the building, man. What's up with you? Yeah, I remember Hoosiers. Yeah, I like Hoosiers. Don't get me wrong, I like Hoosiers, but I like the replacements, man. If we talk about sports movies, and that's another thing, man. Man, you were in here earlier, man. I was on basketball. I was talking about your Pistons, Alex. I was just talking about your Pistons just now, but um, he was pretty good when it came to sports movies. But like I said, man, my top movies from Gene Hackman are Enemy of the State, Crimson Tide, The Replacements, Behind Enemy Lines, uh, and I like Get Shorty. I don't think Get Shorty gets enough credit either. Get Shorty. I like that movie. He's been in a lot, and Superman. I'm not really a big Superman fan, and not unless he's going against somebody that a villain that I never really liked Superman. I was more into like Batman. I really didn't even like DC at all. If we're being honest, I was more into Marvel. But that's a whole nother conversation, man. But to get back to the Pistons, I know a lot of people think I'm a Pistons fan and stuff like that. I like good cultural basketball, man, and the Pistons have a good culture. Always have, always. Hey, Bruce, Gas, I see you in the building. Make sure you go sub to the homie, Bruce Gas, Jazz, Boxing, and more. Yeah, the quick in the day. Yeah, man. But like I said, man, I mean, he's been in everything, man. You could name him off, man. Even if he had like a short role in some of those movies. I mean, just his presence alone. But like I said, Enemy of the State, that's my movie, man. That's my movie. And Crimson Tide. Crimson Tide. I always liked, I don't know, for some reason, I always like those submarine movies. Like, Under Siege and movies like that, man. Under Siege with Steven Seagal. That's why Steven Seagal, he's number one in my book in terms of martial arts and stuff. I got Steven Seagal, then I got Jackie Chan. I don't care what nobody said. I know Jackie Chan was stunts and stuff. And another slept on martial artist that I don't think gets enough credit, man, is Jason Statham. I don't think he gets enough credit either, man, for his martial arts that he does. I thought Wesley Snipes was badass too. I don't think he gets enough credit either, man. You said Steve never met a buffet. Yeah, but run up on Steven Seagal. He doesn't even need to move. That's what's special about him. I mean, yeah, I like. Don't get me wrong. I like John Claude. I think he was dope. But nobody's messing with Steven Seagal. To be as smooth like that, and to put your enemy down, that's phenomenal, man. He could, that's the thing. You see a lot of Bruce, now that we're talking about, combat, hand-to-hand combat and stuff. You'll see like these, martial artists, that are, they might be old. You go to like places like, Bangkok and Taiwan, and Hong Kong, places like that, right? Man, those guys be like 100 and they be like 109 and stuff, man, and still move faster than 20-year-olds. Still can do the shit that you're claiming that you can do or that you're struggling with. Run up on them. All that, oh, I gotta be ripped and cut and all that other stuff, man. All they gotta do is hit the right pressure point, man, and they'll put you out. You said Michael J. White? Why? Yeah. Michael J. White, yeah, he goes hard too. I like Michael J. White. But like I said, I don't see him. I like Wesley Snipes. You gotta realize Wesley Snipes was, I think he was I forgot what degree black belt he was, but he had a high level degree as far as his belts. Wesley Snipes did. Hey, I'm gonna tell you this too. Hey, Bruce Gas, this is really gonna mess your head up too. I bet you'll never guess who was a Golden Glove, and he's a comedian. Y'all would never guess who was a Golden Glove and used to box. He actually, boxing was his first love. I found this out. Take a wild guess. See, Bruce Gas, he like all these quizzes and stuff. I'm gonna put Bruce Gas feet to the fire right now. Take a wild guess, Bruce Gas. Since you a boxing man. Yeah, Blade. Go ahead, take a wild guess. He's a comedian. That's what I'll say. He's a comedian. I'll put it to you like that. He's a legendary comedian. Everybody loves him. They love him to this day. He played in Life. That's my hint. I probably done gave it away. Sean Kerrigan. Nah. Come on, Bruce. You got this. You got this, Bruce. And for those of y'all that like quizzes and want to strengthen your mind, go over there to Bruce, man. He's a historian. Martin Lawrence. Martin Lawrence was a boxer, man. He was a Golden Glove. Martin Lawrence. And he was good at it too. That's why, like, if you ever watch Martin's show and you see how, like, he squares up and stuff, he might be playing around, but, like, he really has a good stance in boxing. If you look at it, Bruce, like, he be playing around and stuff like that, but you could look at him and tell, like, he got the movement down packed and everything. Yeah, like Dragonfly Joe. Yeah. But nah, he'll like when he played the security guard and stuff like that, he'd be like, "What you want, Bob? What you want?" And he'll be up in there, he'll be playing around, but nah, the dude looked like he really could box or whatever. I was like, man, I wonder if Martin really. But then he used to do the movie like Blue Streak and Bad Boys and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Where he would have to display his hand-to-hand combat. Yeah, with Hitman Hearns. There you go. Yeah. Nah, but Martin Lawrence really boxed, man. He really boxed. And Bruce, I fucked up. Like, see, this is what it was, Alex, everybody up in here in Cyprus. Man, like, okay, I didn't start knowing, like, the techniques of boxing and stuff like that till late in life. Like, I'm talking about, like, when I was in the 9th grade or some shit or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I remember I lost a fight, man. I'll skip all that, man. I'm not finna do that or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I had won a couple fights, but when I lost it, they were shocked that I lost and stuff. And I was like, you know what? And so and you usually want to start a little bit earlier than that when boxing and stuff like that. Man, I learned the technique, man, and I learned how quick you gotta be, how sharp you gotta be. I was like, man, this is way different from basketball. You know what I'm saying? The amount of miles that they gotta run and stuff like that. That's why I got an appreciation for boxing. Of course, the calisthenics. Like you got a lot of That's why like whenever we ball and stuff, we would love to have a boxer on our team and stuff because they could run all day. They could run all day. You said Martin fought Terrence. Yeah. Damn, Ted, you alive, man? Ted done arose. He arose from the dead. What's up with it? I'm gonna start calling Ted drop dead Ted, like drop dead Fred. Salute to you, man. Ted came like the Thriller. It's the Thriller night. Nah, but yeah, man. You said bob and weave. Most boxers have a short peak. Yeah, but you have ones that like B Hop. He had a long peak, but that's in the ring. But run up on one of those guys, man. They would still have the technique down. You know what I'm saying? I've seen one of my cousins. Come on, go, man. I've seen one of my cousins. He didn't even want my help. There was like 2-3 guys that were trying to, attack him or whatever. Finished them with no problem. It's lucky that he got taught both martial arts and boxing or whatever, and he had good ground game too. So if you try to wrestle him, that wasn't gonna be no point. And I mean, there wasn't gonna be no point in that. If you got all that all in one, you're gonna be unstoppable, man. You're gonna be an unstoppable force, man. When somebody tries to run up on you, and on top of that, man, if you pick up like tactical training and stuff like that, man, you got all that in your arsenal, man. Shit, you'll be like a triple threat, man. Shit, man, Evander Holyfield he could barely talk though. Man, he could barely move, man. I mean, he still. Man, it's sad to see how Evander is right now, man. It's sad, man. Like when you look at Andre Ward and you look at Mayweather, them guys still got their even what's his name Terrence Crawford. Those guys still got their cognitive ability and they still have their ability to communicate and articulate their words and stuff like that, man. But Evander Holyfield, he's like it's like he's punch drunk, man. Average career, pro boxer 15 years. Yeah, like 5. Yeah, man. Man, it's like you come, man, Bruce, man, you come in here, man, when I'm not talking boxing. When I'm talking boxing, y'all don't want to come in here, man. Like I wanted people to come in here when I was talking about Shakur Stevenson and talking about what's he called? Shakur Stevenson and Tank Davis, who I think would win. I wanted people to talk about now. The WBC, they ordered Bivol to fight Benavidez. Let's talk about that. Y'all don't want to talk about that stuff, man. When I'm like, damn, man, now y'all want to talk about boxing when I'm not talking about boxing. But I guess I'll have to do another video on that a little bit later. But Shakur Stevenson right now, he smokes everybody, man. Shakur Stevenson, his maturity has gotten so better in the ring, man. He's dog. By the time Shakur Stevenson turns like 27, he's gonna be even more dangerous, man. I'm sorry, man, and this is coming from a Devin Haney fan. Nobody right now can beat Shakur Stevenson. Nobody right now can beat Shakur Stevenson. And on top of that, he's gonna get some advice from Mayweather too. So that's gonna make he's already a wizard defensively. Like Shakur Stevenson, like I've said, and everybody knows that I've said this before. I've told everybody this. Out of the three, of course, you know, when you talk about Davis, when you talk about Haney, Shakur smokes both of them. Shakur, man, Shakur has been my guy. I don't, you know, some of the stuff he says and stuff like that, his trolling and stuff. Sometimes he does. I don't necessarily agree with, but in terms of boxing, and I know some people trip out when I say this, Ted and Bruce, everybody up in here. Shakur is like a miniature Muhammad Ali. He's a miniature Muhammad Ali. He's a miniature Muhammad Ali, man, and I don't say that about very many people. He's a miniature Muhammad Ali. Like he can, he has the ability to knock you out. He's got the ability. He can cut the ring off. He can dance around you, pull counter, uh, slip dip, make you miss, mid range, which that right there, that did it for me. Him having the best mid range in boxing. That mid range, that's crucial. He's got the best mid range right now. You said Floyd, Hearns, Lewis, Shield, Michigan legend boxing. Yeah, Alex, man, Alex love Michigan, man. Detroit, yeah, I like. Man, I love me some Clarissa Shields, man. Oof, man, Papoose, he lucky, man. But talking about the Pistons though earlier, man, I got to get back on talking about now. Duren, man, Jaden Duren is not getting enough credit. Jaden Duren right now is averaging 13. He's averaging 13 and 10, if I'm not mistaken. I think he went down on his scoring. He might be at 11. He's averaging a double double though. Jaden Duren is averaging a double double. Jaden Duren is going to be the next premier big man in the next couple years. I know y'all probably don't see it, but this guy does so much, man. To be his size, to be 6'11", man, and his strength up underneath, man, he's giving up sometimes a few inches on some of these guys, and he's still able to impact the game with his rebounding. And I don't think a lot of people are showing Jalen Duren his love, man. I had the opportunity to watch Jalen Duren when he came out of Memphis, man. He also played for Montverde too. Kevin Durant's um, old high school, whatever. I mean, he played for Oak Hill too, but he also played for Montverde. A lot of people play for Montverde, but Jaden Duren, man, is on the come up, and he's going to be another key factor in them winning. Now, you know, when he wasn't fully healthy because he had some injuries, he had a few injury problems, and I think at the beginning of the season he was missing two, if I'm not mistaken. Last season he had some injury problems. Now he's fully healthy. This guy right here, man, he could be counted on for at least. You're gonna get at least 12 rebounds out of this guy. You know what I'm saying? And he's went up on blocks too. I want to say he's averaging about a block a game. But I think that Jaden Duren has a chance to make all defense. You say Cade and Scotty Barnes, Ben Simmons, D'Lo played for Montverde. Yeah, man. Yeah, KD did too. But um, listen, man. This guy right here, man, is he he needs to be paid attention to more, and I think that they're going to pay attention to him more. I can't really say who he necessarily reminds me of yet, as of yet, but I know that him between him and Bam, they got similar games. It's just that I think that defensive wise, Bam got an edge just a little bit. Of course, you're not going to be able to tell that because Miami, we don't know what's going on with them. Oh yeah, my fault. Yeah, we know what's going on. They lost Jimmy. They lost Jimmy. Now they 1-7 without Jimmy. They were 1-6, unless they lost again. Man, listen. But I like Jalen Duren, man. I don't think he gets enough credit for what the Pistons have been doing either. Because like I said last night, he had what? He had 13 rebounds last night, I think it was. Um, and they got rebounding. The Pistons have good rebounders. Like they got Tobias Harris. He's a solid rebounder. Kate Cunningham will get you rebounds because he fills up the stat sheet. They got some good rebounding, man. So I look at Jalen Duren, man. Rim protection. That's gonna be the key. Because the playoffs, like I said, it's gonna slow down. The way that he was the way that he was able to assert himself against like Porzingis, giving up that size and everything, I thought it was phenomenal. Now you see these guys on display. Now you know what to look at. Now we know. Now people know what they have been missing from these guys. And like I said, nobody's talking about it. They want to talk about the obvious. They want to talk about the obvious. I'm going to talk about, the things that they're not necessarily putting out there. Like Jalen Duren, that's a double-double. You have guys that are bigger than Jalen Duren that can't even average double-digit in rebounds. How come we're not talking about that? Nobody wants to mention that. Jalen Duren, 6'11", solid, and he feeds off of Cade Cunningham good too. That whenever they get into like the 2-man, and he doesn't even need to score that much. That's another thing. He doesn't even need to score that much. Listen, let him get like 10 points, 15 points, but do a solid job on the rebounds, on the defensive rebound, offensive rebounds. That's all you need from him. Like a lot of people don't understand, when KG was over there with Boston, he didn't really score that much. He was more of a rebound, defensive presence, that linebacker and stuff. And KG would get about 18 points, but he'll have you like 10 rebounds. He'll have like 3 blocks. Sometimes he wouldn't even score that much. You know what I'm saying? But and then he'll knock down key shots or make key buckets or get to the line or set key screens that needed to be set and stuff when he was with Boston. And we know that KG was a little bit older, but he was still able to be effective without having to be like he was in the Minnesota days. But I'm finna roll out, y'all. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure you sub to the channel if you're not a member. Also hit those notifications too. Straight to the point. I'm out.